Kazakh-Russian relations have a long history. It begins in the 16th century. At that time, they were mainly limited to diplomatic and trade relations. For example, the Middle Jews had trade relations with the Stroganovs in the 16th century. The first attempt to establish a military alliance with Russia was made in the early 18th century. Peter I's message is there is a lot of gold mixed sand in the town of Yeskendir. Russia, exhausted by a long Russia-Swedish war, needed a huge amount of money. Gagarin, the first governor of Siberia, presented Peter I with a plan to build a military fort from Tobol to Yeskendir. In June 1715, expedition set out of a campaign. It was in October of this year that the foundation of the Zhansaya fortress was laid. On October 10, 1731, as the Kazakh Khanate focused growing weakness, in the midst of the conflict with Jungars, Khan Abulkhair and the majority of the senior leader from the junior Jews pledged their loyalty to the Russian Empire. This momentous event marked the initiation of Kazakhstan incorporation into Russian domain. In summary, the Russian Empire's military colonization of Kazakhstan encompassed a multifaceted approach which included the application of military might, territorial expansion through treaties, cost population relocation, administrative reconstruction, and the implementation of cultural assimilation policies. All of these measures were orchestrated to solidify Russian supremacy and governments within the region. The Russian Empire conducted multiple military campaigns with the aim of conquering the Kazakh Khanate, the prevailing authority in the region during that era. These campaigns were orchestrated and commanded by renowned Russian military figures like Alexander Suvorov and Ivan Peskevich. In the first half of the 18th century, as a segment of Kazakh ruler aligned with the junior and middle Jews, Russia initiated its expansion into the Kazakh steppes. It constructed military fortifications and extended the formal legal authority over the Kazakh clans. In the later half of the 18th century and the early 19th century, a protectorate was established over the Kazakh Jews, leading to reform within the traditional government structure of the junior Jews. By 1822, 1824, and 1845, the Russian Empire have abolished the traditional system of governments, including the power of the Khans in the Kazakhstan. This was accompanied by the restructuring of government institutions. In the years 1867 and 1868, a unified Russian administrative system was implemented across entirely of in Kazakhstan, dividing the Kazakh steppes into general governments, specifically the steppe, Turkestan, and Orenburg regions. The accession of Kazakhstan to Russia in the early 18th century should be considered as a result of combined impact of many factors, among which it's necessary to emphasize political, military, economic, cultural, natural, and geographical factors. Since the process of oscillation lasted almost 150 years, it was characterized by oscillation, declaration, even sometimes retreat. There were moments of volunteerness, violence, seizure, and enslavement.